Hello drone fans, welcome to part 2 of my Mavic Pro repair video. If you like my channel, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe and like the videos. Let's get into it. First we're going to remove the ribbon cables that connect the main board to the camera board. Then we're going to remove the gimbal power. There are 4 screws that you need to undo in order to remove the gimbal from the body. Just taking out the screws. There are 2 ribbon cables that you have to take off the camera board. These 2 ribbon connectors are for the front VPS sensors. As you can see, both ribbon cables have been disconnected. Be very gentle with these cables. And now you'll be able to remove the gimbal. There was nothing wrong with this gimbal, just the actual rubbers that hold the gimbal, that take away some of the vibration. One or two of the rubbers were broken, so I'm just replacing the rubbers quickly. Now what I'm doing is I am removing the compass, the front compass. Be careful not to lose the screw that you took out, because that screw is a non-magnetic screw, and if you put a screw that's magnetized in there, then you won't be able to calibrate your compass. Because I'm replacing the middle shell, I have to remove everything from it. So now now the front vision positioning module. Just 2 screws and a little tricky to get out, but just wiggle it a little bit, it'll come out easily. When you can, always put your screws back where you found them, so that you know those screws belong to that part of the drone. Now I'm removing the power connector for the fan. Now I'm loosening the fan module. The fan module is also screwed to the body, the middle frame. In order to remove the ESC module, you have to undo these screws to take the fan as well as the PDP, power distribution board, that's soldered to the ESC. Just to free that up, you have to undo these screws. You'll see that it's going to come loose. I think there might be a screw or two still there. Now you can see the power distribution board is loose. There are two black rubbers on either side of the drone where the top shell connects to. You remove those rubbers. I'm also just taking a picture for reference on how the ESCs are soldered to the board. You can also look it up online. I just like to take pictures now and again. Using a very special tool here called a knife. What I'm doing now is I'm loosening this black glue, OEM glue from the manufacturer, that holds down the wires. And I'm just cutting the glue. This glue sometimes is difficult to come by, so you can also use clear glue, but always try use OEM spec glue. You can order it off Banggood, but you have to use it pretty quick because it does go bad after a while. Now I am loosening the rear arm. Those wires there are the motor wires. This is a whole mechanism that has to be removed. Doing it to the other side now. I've cut that black glue. Now I'm just prying the wires loose. Gently lift up the rear arms. Take out the screws that fitted to the middle frame. Put them to one side. Make sure you don't mix up your screws, because if you mix up your screws, assembling is a lot more difficult. Just off camera, I've got all my screws placed very, very neatly, so assembly is much easier. Never force anything, because if you force something it will break. Then it's difficult, not so difficult to get replacement parts, but you have to wait quite a while. Obviously I'm struggling a little bit here, can't remember why I was struggling. But gentle movements gets the job done. That's why. There's also a screw at the back, obviously I missed that. I think this is where it was broken, so maybe there was a scratch over it and I couldn't see it, but there we go. Take my screws, put them in a safe place. Okay, next up is I'm going to desolder the motors as well as the LEDs. So I've taken a photo and I can remember, so the photo is what I can use for reference when I put the new ESC board in. Remember this specific drone I think had an ESC issue, so I don't repair the actual MOSFETs on the board. I just replaced the whole ESC unit. And what I'm doing now is I'm desoldering the LED wires for the front arms as well as the front and rear motors. My soldering iron is heated to about, I think, 385 degrees. The solder that DJI uses is quite good. It's very neat, tidy. So all I'm doing is just lightly touching it, applying heat, using my tweezers to pull the wire. I like to be as inobtrusive as possible so that when you put everything back together, it looks like it was done by the factory. What I'm doing there was using my special knife tool to cut the black glue. The black glue holds the wire down to the ESC board. There wasn't any area for me to grip, so I'm just freeing up the wire. As you can see, apply some heat, pull with your tweezers and remove the wire. Now I'm doing the LED cables. Always dip my soldering tip into a bit of flux. Keep it as clean as possible. I found a clean soldering tip makes for much better heat application. But here's a much better angle of what I'm actually doing. Grabbing the wire, pulling on it, applying heat and pulling the wire off. You'll find that your solder beads don't really get damaged. Well, not damaged, but they don't blob all over the place. Leaves a nice pull, if you want to call it that, so that when you put everything back together, it's easy. There we go, nice, neat and tidy. There's the LED wires. Very, very, LED wires are very tiny. Now I'm going to attempt the main PDP. This solder is exceptionally hard. My little iron was really battling, so I'm applying heat as much as possible, trying to remove the positive and negative connectors from the power distribution board to the ESC board. The next video we'll see how we remove that. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Please subscribe to my channel and comment down below